Hello there, and welcome to the show. And these are the top 10 movies that I watched in 2025. Starting off our list at number 10, we've got a Goofy movie. I like the story of a Goofy movie. I thought it was a simple, well-told storyline that was decently paced. The two musical numbers were pretty fun. The movie had some funny comedic moments as well as some solid dramatic moments. I thought it told a pretty good story. I like the two main characters, Goofy and Max, and it is number 10 on this list. At number 9, Thunderbolts. I had zero interest in Thunderbolts, and I went into this movie with zero expectations, being that Marvel's track record in recent years has not been the best. However, this was a pretty enjoyable movie. I enjoyed the story. Even though, yes, this movie is pretty much discount Suicide Squad, it was still a pretty entertaining movie. I thought Red Guardian was pretty funny. I thought the character dynamics, the way they played off of each other was pretty good. Admittedly, yes, they don't have any real depth to them, but for a story like this, they don't really need to be the most complex characters. As I mentioned in my review, Lewis Pullman in this movie was great. His portrayal of Bob, Sentry, and Void, the way he played these three different characters was excellent. No question, the best part of this movie in my opinion. And the battle at Stark Tower between Thunderbolts and Sentry, I thought that was a great action sequence. And Thunderbolts is number 9 on this list. Coming in at number 8, The Bad Guys 2. I really enjoyed the first Bad Guys movie, so I was pretty excited for a sequel. This was a pretty good movie. I like the story of how the bad guys are trying to be good. However, it's hard for them to fit into society, and I thought the movie did a good job at portraying that. This movie had plenty of funny moments. The comedy in this film was pretty hilarious. The final act that took place in space was executed pretty well. The way the five main characters play off of each other was pretty good. Snake had some of the funniest moments in the film in my opinion, and I liked how this movie set up for the future of the bad guys, and I do hope we get a third movie someday. The Bad Guys 2 was a pretty good film. Admittedly, I do think the original is better, but this is still a very good film and number 8 on this list. At number 7, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Now, I actually watched all 5 Pirates of the Caribbean movies for the first time in 2025, and this first movie, Curse of the Black Pearl, was a very fun pirate adventure. Right from the beginning, I knew the type of movie this was gonna be, and it did not disappoint. Johnny Depp's portrayal of Jack Sparrow was really good, and the first real action sequence between him and Will, that first fight scene was pretty funny, and the slapstick utilized in that was pretty entertaining in my opinion. I liked the story with the Black Pearl and the cursed pirate crew and the final fight. Curse of the Black Pearl told a very good story. In my opinion, Curse of the Black Pearl from a storytelling perspective is the best of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I really enjoyed this film, and it is number 7 on this list. At number 6, sticking with the Pirates, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I mentioned that Curse of the Black Pearl had the best story out of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but to me, Dead Man's Chest is my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean movie. This movie, in my opinion, upped the action. The action sequences in this movie were a lot better, especially the final battles, the triple threat on the island, as well as the final naval battle between the ship and the Kraken. I thought the final battles in this movie were great. I thought Davy Jones was a great character, a great addition to the Pirates of the Caribbean. The CGI, the way the visual effects hold up 20 years later is still great. The CGI on Davy Jones is incredible. Jack Sparrow's introduction in this movie was great. This film had plenty of funny moments. In my opinion, this movie is funnier than the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and to me, this is the best of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The 3 movies after this, At World's End, On Stranger Tides, and Dead Men Tell No Tales, I am not a fan of those movies. However, Dead Man's Chest is a great movie, in my opinion, and number 6 on this list. At number 5, Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2 was a great film, one of the best movies that I watched at the end of 2025. I like the expansion on the world of Zootopia with the introduction of reptiles as well as the backstory to the world of Zootopia. I really like the dynamic of Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, a throwback to the old buddy cop movies of the 90s and the 2000s. This movie had some incredibly funny moments as well as emotionally compelling moments. Gary the Snake was a great supporting character in my opinion. I like the main musical number. I thought it was a pretty good musical number. Zootopia 2, a great sequel to a great film, and I am excited for the future of Zootopia. Zootopia 2, number 5 on this list. At number 4, the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. The original How to Train Your Dragon is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. I love the story. I love everything about the original How to Train Your Dragon. To me, it's one of the greatest animated films of all time. The history of live-action remakes of animated classics haven't been the best. However, this movie was very good. It is possibly the greatest live-action remake of an animated movie of all time, which admittedly is not saying much. However, I thought this was a very good movie and a very good retelling of the How to Train Your Dragon story. This movie had two very good performances from Mason Thames and Gerard Butler. The flying sequences with Toothless were very well done. The final battle was, in my opinion, better than the original. The original is better, but this was a very good retelling of the original, and it is number 4 on this list. Coming in at number 3, Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers was one of the funniest movies that I watched in 2025. I thought Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson were great in this movie, and I liked the story that played out during this film. I thought Isla Fisher and Rachel McAdams were great as well. One of the funniest movies that I watched in all of 2025. This movie had some great comedy, some great jokes. The romance aspect of this rom-com also was pretty good. This movie had good romantic moments as well as good comedic moments. This is one of the funniest movies I watched in all of 2025, and it is number 3 on this list. At number 2, the best superhero movie of 2025, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. This is no question the best presentation of the Fantastic Four in a major movie. I thought all 4 main characters were great in terms of writing. They were presented pretty well, and the performances by the 4 leads was great. Galactus being presented as Galactus instead of a cosmic space cloud was great, and his introduction when he was first introduced, that scene was great. This movie was well paced, had some genuinely funny moments, not that cringe-inducing Marvel humor that we're all kind of sick of at this point. I was emotionally invested in the story. The final fight was great, and the lead up to that final fight was great. Easily, by far and away, the best superhero movie of 2025, Marvel's best film of 2025. This was an excellent film. This was a great superhero film, and it is number 2 on this list. And finally, number 1, the biggest surprise hit of 2025. When I first heard about this movie, I thought it was a joke. I was with a friend of mine, and he told me the title of this movie, and my initial response was, bro, you're joking, right? There is no way that there is an actual movie called K-Pop Demon Hunters. And he told me that there was, and the movie existed, and I watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, and it is genuinely the best movie I watched in all of 2025. I grew up listening primarily to rock and metal music. I don't listen to K-pop music very often. However, this movie was phenomenal. This movie, no question, had the best comedy in any movie that I watched in 2025. Right from the beginning, the opening action sequence on the plane, like the comedy that led up to that first action sequence was so hilarious. The comedy in this film was great. I laughed so many times during the comedic scenes of this movie. The comedy in this film was the best comedy of 2025. I love the world of K-Pop Demon Hunters, how it set up the story of the world. Rumi's story story and her character arc is the best story I've seen play out in a movie in 2025. I was emotionally invested in the story and the way it played out. The best storytelling in any movie I watched in 2025. This movie was emotionally compelling. This movie also has some great dramatic moments. It has some great emotional moments. The music in this movie is incredible. The two best songs in this movie, in my opinion, Soda Pop and the final musical number. This is what it sounds like. The ending of this movie, the final act, is phenomenal. It is the best finale to a movie in all of 2025, in my opinion. The final battle was great. The characters in this movie were great. Rumi had the best story of any character in 2025. Zoe and Mira were great as well. Soulja Boys were great. This movie, everything about this movie was great. And no question, K-Pop Demon Hunters is the best movie that I watched in 2025. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Saeed_2000, and I will see you on the next video. Till then, take care.